Greetings and salutations, race fans, motorsport lovers, and others, and welcome to Raceday.tv and a special broadcast today, a special program on sim racing, and we've got a full house, and we will reveal to you shortly who has joined us, some proper names in the world of real racing and in sim racing. As normal, I'm joined by Andrew Horn, who will be driving the interaction on the Facebook channel, and so that we can you can ask your questions and we can have some proper interaction. Today, we are joined by, and in no particular order, except the winner of the Solidarity E-Race. We'll start with him. Alleric Enslin is joining us, as well as Jason Absmeier. Jason Absmeier won the drive of the day in the Solidarity E-Race. We've got GeeMax Smith, world-class sim racing commentator, and then all the way from his South African compound, the world's youngest DTM pole sitter, Sheldon van der Linde. Guys, thank you very much for joining us, and welcome to this sim race special.
Thank you for having us. Thanks a lot, Colin, for having us. It's quite cool to be joining in from all over the world. I think it's quite cool.
It's absolutely blooming brilliant. We're going to start off with Alleric. You haven't stopped smiling. You've pulled off a bit of a coup. You brought an Audi into a Porsche fight, and you beat them using a little bit of head. You've got to be feeling absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I mean it's still sinking in now and then. But yeah, I don't know how I pulled it off. I think it's just a bit of luck as well in there, but yeah, it feels pretty amazing.
Your own luck.
Yeah, the more you practice, the more you think about it, the luckier you get. This has been a dream. Part of the prize is a test drive with the Universal Racing guys in their Uttinger Polo Cup car. And this is a proper dream of yours, is to make the crossover from sim racing into real world racing.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, you just worded it correctly there. It's probably since I started sim racing, and basically since I was a young boy, that's yeah, that's the thing I've always wanted to get into.
I'm absolutely blown away, and you guys have exposed me, awoken I never knew that sim racing was the size that it is. And first of all, I've got to thank all the guys who organized the Solidarity E-Race. Thank you very much. And to all of you for joining us. This is a dream of Race Day, is to make Racing Day or racing, whatever it is, bigger and expose some of the superstars in it. And Sheldon, you're a proper real racing star, but you're getting your rig sorted out at home in Joburg, so that you can go iRacing with Max and with Linde and guys like that.
Yeah, no, it's I myself didn't think I would be stuck in this position a few months ago. Basically, on a sim rig at home in Africa. We're actually meant to be at the first race already as we speak, so it's quite a weird situation for me to be in. But yeah, like I've already mentioned before, at least I have my sim rig with me. Otherwise, the boredom would really get to me right now. So it's good to be joining you guys and hopefully getting online. I heard about this Solidarity race.
There we go. We've got your microphone up. We're just battling a little bit to hear you.
Really?
Yeah.
Better now?
It's much better now. Thanks a lot, Sheldon.
Okay. Sorry.
So you were saying about the iRacing?
Yeah. So basically, just getting online in the last few days. Didn't expect to be in this situation. Was meant to be at Sheldon now for my first DTM race, but things have obviously changed quite a lot during the last few weeks and months. So yeah, it's quite fun to be online, chatting to you guys as well about probably the future of technology and motorsport, I believe. That's sim racing.
You need to get a massive internet pipeline, and apparently there's all sorts of people to sort this shit out, to get that iRacing, because it's like, putting a turbo on your car. You go faster with the faster internet.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, I think we can have a lot of debates about what's the best platform to use currently. There's so many to choose from, and obviously some of the guys on Assetto Corsa, and I'm personally on iRacing. So I think it'll be good just to hear from each of you what's personally your favorite platform and for what reason it is. Because I'm quite interested in getting to know all the platforms. Currently, I'm just on iRacing, like I said, but I know some of the guys are doing it as well. So,
Right, let's quickly, can we pause this debate? Because I want to talk first of all about the race on Wednesday night, and we've got some interesting footage that we'll get going on now. And then we'll come back to this debate. And Sheldon, also looking at it from a racer's point of view, some of the bits and pieces, particularly the start and the first corner. And if we've got that footage, Fritzy, let's roll with it. So we're coming up to the start. And Alleric, you talk us through what's going through your mind here.
I mean, at the start of the race, you try and get up close to the guy in front. Just make sure you don't pass him, but then, yeah, as that green light just dropped, you just floor it. I mean, that's the first thing that came into head, is just get that inside line, defend it from the first corner, well, basically the second corner. And yeah, I don't know how I got it. It does look like he slacked off at the end, so...
But I mean, that was the move that actually set up the whole of the race for you. And then once you were in front, got a little bit of a gap, and then defend, and look after the tires.
Yeah, that's what I planned from the beginning, and I knew going into the race that the Porsche is going to run out of tires before me. So I think the beginning was just the defending was the most important part, just not let them pass.
Okay, so a little bit later, and Andrew, when you get comments, just pipe up and interrupt here. We go a little bit later into the first lap, and by now, Jason, you've gone up from 12th to 9th. That's the next clip. Let's go with the rest of the first lap clip. So coming out into the sausage curb corner. I mean, there you've got a nice handy lead already.
Yeah, that's with me now.
Keep going, guys.
Yeah, like I could just see me.
They
I
actually
think,
showed Alleric there.
yeah, like Zahir was on the back of me for like the whole half of the race, so it was so tough to break free from that guy. I mean, he has insane pace in the sim, and I think we all know he's a real life racing driver, or used to be. So yeah, you can see like that guy has insane pace in the sims as well.
Yeah. And the Porsche, there was an update just before the race, about 2 or 3 hours before the race. And did that make a big difference to your cars? I know a lot of the guys driving Porkers weren't happy.
I did feel a difference. That's why before the race I did have to do like 2 practice stints. I did 2 20-lap stints itself with my engineer. So we had to like sort out our setup as well. I mean, we had to like rebuild the whole setup. I think most people don't even know about this. I didn't tell anyone. So it's kind of part of the game plan to not let people do their setups. So yeah, I think I did have an issue, but it's not as big as what the Porsches had.
Jason, you were in a Porsche and you worked hard on, because that thing is twitchy AF. And did the update, did it make it even more twitchy?
It did make it twitchy, but before the update, I sorted it out. But I did some laps just offline against the computer, and especially in Sunset, entering the corner, the back end just wanted to come towards the front. So I just made some adjustments with the ride height at the back.
How many?
Just a bit.
When you say just a bit, 2 millimeters?
Yeah.
I'm
2 centimeters.
I'm asking for a friend.
I think
Go on, give away his secrets now, Colin.
No, but if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah, no.
Tell him no.
Well, I can't say what the ride height was at the back, but I dropped it about 2 or 3 millimeters, and it stabilized in Sunset, which was the main corner, which it felt twitchy.
Absolutely awesome. So I've got to just have a shout out to a driver who wishes to remain anonymous. He knows who he is. He recently had a birthday. thank you very much for sharing that setup with me. It just helped absolutely brilliantly. Right, so let's...
That was my question, is just before we move on from that topic, Colin, did you have an issue with setup with the update and so on going into your race on Wednesday? And I think you did bloody well.
No, but this is not about me. I had an issue in general. I'm just cock slow. I mean, these guys are the superstars. They are absolute superstars. It's all about them. Right, and I want to go back to the race. Jason, you're in 9th position now, and you hunting guys down. Fritzy, can we roll position number 9? The clip where it's called. The title is Absmeier 9th. Talk us through this, Jason.
Okay. I just need to see who I was chasing, yeah?
Blue and white car, there you go, through the shot.
I think it was, I was just analyzing how the cars in front of me, where they're braking, which corner, how they're taking the lines. So, it's just basically analyzing while I'm driving.
And then
to make my pass eventually.
And here's a pass. But there's something else happening in the background of this lot. Whoever wants to, Jason, you're probably the closerest to this one. Have a chat, and then George, I want your opinion of some of the stuff that happens in the background here. So let's run with that clip that's titled Pass. This is a brilliant pass you've got, by the way.
I just need to see where I went. Okay, I went to the right hand side.
You are insane on the brakes.
Yeah.
Oh, what a move, mate.
Oh, oh shame. For sure. I feel so sorry for him. I think his heart sunk in that moment. No, they were lucky. But I feel for Leslie and I feel for Sheldon, because in that heat of the moment, you don't know what. So you're either going to leave the car and let someone drive into you, or you're just going to let someone drive into you. You can't do anything about that.
George, if you were from a race steward's point of view, how do you sort that? I mean, rubbing is racing. Is it still allowed a little bit of contact?
It's a complicated call, and I think what was misleading a little bit on the stream is that viewers only sort of see the end of the incident that's taken place there. Obviously, Jason made the move on that Audi, and it was beautiful on the outside to get around and get by. And I think the Audi probably was getting the yellow flags at the same time, so both of them kind of lifted coming into Crowthorne there. They saw two cars standing by their sides. I don't think the Audi could get as much on the brakes as he wanted to. And unfortunately, a little tap on the back, it didn't influence their race, together. I think some of the later rejoining that those cars did was a little bit bad. But, it comes down to, guys' racing standards. And what happens under pressure is someone just gets on the gas too early, they get themselves back into the racing line, they cause another incident. They don't realize they have to wait for other cars to get by safely. I think maybe in the real car, Sheldon would be able to tell us a little bit more. You'd probably be a little bit more aware that there's a race car coming towards you at full speed than in a sim where you kind of like, it's virtualized. But, penalties would be applied in a sim race to whoever's caused those kind of things. And I think as drivers get better and we get better fields of drivers, you just get better racing standards, which just means the race is more fun to watch. And this solidarity race, I'd probably, the top names in the scene. I come into this from a broadcasting perspective. I've done a lot of broadcasting and commentary, and that I'm not a top tier sim racer. I kind of fall with you, Colin. We'd be lapping together, I feel. But, I like to highlight the talent. I like to see what these guys do on track. And at the end of the day, that solidarity race had some really big, nice names in it. To see some more real life drivers, it would be great to see that. Of course, Assetto Corsa, it's trying to appeal to more real-life racing drivers. They've got big competition against some of the other sims. But for me, I really enjoy what ACC is doing. I like the liveries that come through. I love that we have Kailami in it. I love that we have the local liveries that took place there. So it does some great things for local sim racing, just to make broadcasts more fun. And I think I speak for a lot of sim racers here. We may be getting a little bit tired of Kailami. We still love it. Jason's going to shout at me before he shouts at me. We still love it. But we really have abused that track. I think Kunos would agree. If they check their player base, the South Africans have just been abusing Kailami for lobbies. We absolutely love it.
Sheldon, what's your favorite track to race on?
Well, internationally speaking, I would definitely say Spa is amongst one of the top ones to race at. That's quite an interesting point, because I think Kailami, or at least the course, is one of the only gaming platforms that actually has Kailami on it. I don't think Fact or any other platform has got Kailami on it. So, yeah, I think that's something special about the platform. And iRacing is quite different, like I said. So, you need to weigh up certain aspects of it to really see what matters.
Jason, you were about to say something?
Oh, no, I was just telling George that I'll whisper in his ear that I'm not tired of Kailami yet. I'm not going to shout.
It would be so really nice if we could get some of the other South African tracks scanned and into it. East London, PE, Cape Town. That would be an absolute ideal.
I think at the moment, someone actually for the original Assetto Corsa, some local guy made a complete Kailami as it is, and it's usable and downloadable at the moment. And while he was busy with the project, he actually worked on Kalani, but he stopped the project to give it to someone else. So there is a version of Kalani for Assetto Corsa, but it's not complete yet.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to get that sorted out.
Yeah, I do know there's a new technology they're using for making the tracks. Let's say for Assetto Corsa, is they actually use Google Maps to get the heights of corners. Like they can get like loads of detail now into the tracks for any title, just through Google Maps, which is quite interesting.
Bloody crazy.
Yeah, so even without the ability to get into the laser scanning side of things, which is of course what everybody wants in their sims, there are these modders and dedicated people that go and pull that kind of data just to build some sort of resemblance of the track. And I mean, they can obviously measure the distances, elevation, that kind of thing. It's obviously not going to be as detailed as a laser scan track, but it's just great that there are such cool dedicated people in the sim racing community that want to go out and continue to make content. There's guys making liveries for local cars, and I mean trading paints on iRacing. Sheldon, I mean, you can talk more about that. I mean, how cool is it to go into there and be able to pull pretty much any livery for a car that you would want?
Yeah, it's quite cool. I'm actually driving my Shell livery at the moment, which is quite nice. So it's
super
quite
cool.
To race online. Every driver's got kind of his own livery that he uses in real life, which kind of brings his identity with him into the virtual world. And I also find that quite cool. But like you said, it's also guys that are really putting in time effortlessly just to help these guys get these liveries running. Without these guys making them just for fun, basically, as a hobby, we wouldn't be having them online, which is quite cool. So we need to be thankful for these passionate sim racers that are basically going out there doing these liveries and enabling us to drive with our own identity. I mean, I even have my own racing helmet with me with my BMW logo and everything on the front. So it's pretty real. Yeah.
I think that opens up another level, another layer, really, for real-world sponsors to transition into some of the sim racing and adds extra leverage on their sponsorships.
I think that's what makes sim racing so valuable during this lockdown, is that you're able to feature your real life sponsors, such as Shell, for example. These guys are actually getting coverage online, whereas without sim racing, they wouldn't be getting anything. So, I think it's super effective at the moment just to get the branding out there, and that's why we're seeing customized liveries to every guy's preference.
Oh, it's absolutely brilliant. Andrew, have you got any comments and queries and stuff from the Facebook yet?
I have got tons. It's actually a really popular topic.
Fire away!
There are a couple of people that have said, give away your secrets to your setups, please, on ACC. And Dylan Hall, who's the man behind SARCO, South African Online Racing Community, he puts a lot of time and dedication into this, and you know, they really have got a great thing going on there. He says he gave you a great setup. He also says that the laser scanning is ultimate, but with dedication and the technology available, they can get it pretty close. And then Wade Lumpert's come along with a cool link in our comment section saying with the company that is actually using the Google Maps to build the tracks for Assetto Corsa. So if anybody's interested, there's a cool link there. Yeah, just this is really popular. There are so many people just really enjoying what we're saying, and then a reminder about the 6 Hours of Kyle Army coming up this weekend, also on Assetto Corsa. So while we are saying we've killed the tracks already, there's another race coming up on
me again. Brilliant.
So who of you guys is driving on? It's Sunday at 8 o'clock, isn't it?
Yeah, Sunday morning from 8.
9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, qualifying starts 8.
Yeah.
And who are you guys driving with?
Jason?
Okay, I'll go first. My teammate's going to be Leslie Oliphant, who was also a fast driver in the Solidarity race. The person who Shoal actually took out in turn 1. So he's going to be my teammate.
And you in a polka?
Okay, so
obviously.
yeah, Porsche. Yeah, I have quite a special one. I'm driving with David Perrell.
Coach Davey!
Coach Dave, yeah, he's going to be my teammate for this one. I think it's going to be quite interesting, but we're not taking a Ferrari, sadly, because the Ferrari is struggling at Kyalami, so we'll be in an Aston.
And why have you made the change to the Aston?
I think it's just for the endurance race. I think it's more consistent, it's easier on the tires, and probably also fuel. So, I mean, it's an endurance race. It's not about getting first position at the first corner. It's just about surviving the race and getting that consistency going.
And Max, are you, GeeMax, George Smith, are you going to be calling the race?
Yeah.
6 hours, long time.
So
eh?
Wow.
yeah, that's something that that's recently an addition. I was originally going to drive with Jason. We drive for White Rabbit Gaming, and I was originally going to drive with him, but obviously doing the commentary side of things for other events, this is something that I really want to commentate on. So we brought Leslie on to drive for WRG with Jay. So I'll be commentating. I'll be bringing a guy called Barry Anthrax Lizarda into the booth, and Richard Angelus will also join us. He's done a couple of broadcasts with me before. Barry is new to the sim racing side of things, but I have done previous esports. So I've been in sort of esports doing FPS shooters and that kind of thing, and recently, 2 years ago, jumped into doing racing along with Jay and Alleric, and Jay's been doing it for a long time, but I met him along this journey, and yeah, it's just been great to kind of see how it's all grown. So Raceface holding this event in collaboration with Medal State, a relatively big tournament organizer when it comes to the gaming side of things, as well as an online racing side for Raceface. I think it's a great collab. So yeah, we'll be streaming that over to the Medal State Twitch page, as well as the Raceface YouTube page for the 6 hour. It will be epic.
Sheldon, I got a question for you. You doing anything Sunday morning?
No, not quite sure yet. Probably sleeping quite late because I got a race. We're going to be up until 3 in the morning again.
Sheldon, got a quick question for you. If somehow we managed to get a sneaky little invite into this race, could you come and drive and teach me how to go faster?
It could be a possibility, for sure.
Right, let's
get you guys in.
I'll have to let you know later.
If you guys need in, I can get you in.
George. All right, let's
get you in.
As long as they have the beam online. Do they have the M6? They do, right?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Ah, interesting stuff
There's
there.
no excuses, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to talk, fire this thing up in practice. But Andrew, you had a question just before we started about Yeah, what was your question about platforms?
Okay, I will get to that. I have posted up the participants list in our comment section with a link to the Metal State site. So anybody that wants to go and browse their sites and see the kind of esports tournaments they organize, it's a really cool site. Yeah, there are quite a few people participating. Dylan Hall, who helped Colin out with this setup and who's watching our show, he's entering under Sarko 2. Bruno, who was in the Solidarity race, he's in Sarko 1. Those are some of the comments. And then my question was, we've got a good sample of sim races here. Colin, you're new to it. You've played a bit of Assetto Corsa and Gran Turismo. I've played the same as well as Project Cars. I haven't done iRacing. But I'd like to throw the question out to everybody that's online. Of all the platforms out there, what do you sort of feed back to the most real and the best platform? Let's put it that way.
Who's going to kick that one off if we can go to a 6-shot there? Who'd like to start that
And
off,
why?
boys?
I think let's
I'll start
qualify
that
with
off.
why as well.
So, I know this is quite a
yeah.
tricky subject at the moment. Kind of everyone has their own opinion of what's better. But at the moment, I've only driven iRacing. To be honest, I haven't really tried out the yet. At least since the latest update that they've brought to the game. So I've got to say, my personal opinion is that iRacing is probably the leading platform for handsome races. Reason being is that the tire model is super realistic at the moment, and then also the online platform of just driving against other drivers. You know, there's for me a lot less lag when you race against other people. So basically, you can race, in my opinion, you can race closer together without having contact or taking people out. And that's where, yeah, I think iRacing basically covers the whole contact off-track thing the best. We've got like an incident system where you go off-track, you get an off-track penalty, which basically affects your safety rating. So you can't just go online and start taking people out because it's going to affect your rating online. So you've got to be very careful with how you basically your respect on track. And that's where I think iRacing comes in as probably the best online platform. And in terms of physics, I think you guys can take that further. But definitely online platform, I firmly believe that iRacing is one of the strongest at the moment.
Right, firmly in the iRacing corner is Sheldon van Linde, superstar on iRacing. Jason. Okay, hold on. Let's go with George. We'll leave Jason and so we're going to go George, Jason, and then Alleric.
I thought I'd just do the hand voting system there, so I could also respond. I didn't get to catch all of Sheldon's points. I caught most of them. I think he's completely right with the online platform side of things. I don't think you can beat iRacing when it comes to that front. I think the safety rating that they've built into the game, or sim, let's not even call it a game, let's just go sim, has been there for so long. It really has built up a really great database of drivers. It is a paid-for system, so it really does encourage people to be at their best level. If you are there just wasting time and abusing it, you're just wasting your own money. So it really does have a solid sort of foundation level, all the detail that they put into sort of the car physics levels. I really don't think that there's many sims that can rival like the damage models that iRacing brings to the table, where there's actually a visual effect that then handles through to the car in such a sort of realistic way. So when it comes down to things like iRacing, it really is a peak level sim, and I think like real life racing drivers like Sheldon and those kind of guys really do deserve to boast about that kind of a sim. When it comes down to like accessibility wise, you've got the things like Gran Turismo Sports and that kind of thing, which really does target the competitive casual gamer. Someone can jump on and just play with sort of a little casual gamepad, and getting people into sim racing is more the point of anything, So for me, the argument will always be out there that, what's more realistic, what's better. With the top racing level simulator stuff, I mean, iRacing I think is just top notch. When it comes to something like ACC, that's taken the whole world by storm because it's focused on just GT3 cars. I know they're going to bring GT4 cars in a later update. But when it comes to just GT3 cars and simulating GT3 cars, I think ACC does a great job. I think from the sound level, someone like me who's just a casual lover of motorsport, I've never had the opportunity to drive a real-life GT3 car. I can just compare it to like onboard footage that we see. Someone like David Perel post, you get an onboard footage, you can hear all the sounds going on, you can kind of get like the ambiance. I go and drive an ACC, I get that same sort of feeling. I can hear the brakes squealing while they're cold, and I can get a good sense of it. So I think ACC brings a lot to the table from that. It's still being worked on. I mean, they keep adding to their tire model. They know that they haven't got the best tire model out there. Something like R-Factor 2, which is old, they've got a fantastic tire model. The graphics are a bit outdated, but driving in R-Factor 2 is phenomenally fun. So there's really just a lot of opportunity for people to experience what they like. And I think anyone can get into something and find a car combo with a track that they just can get lost in when it comes to sim racing. It's such an immersive thing. You just every time ACC kind of built on AC, which had modded cars and additional car sounds which you could download. Someone's gone and made the Porsche sound a little bit more beefy or more realistic. You can throw that into your sim and suddenly have a more immersive, fun experience. So I think there's just it's such an open question and such a big debatable field that it really does come down to just what you want to drive. I think Sheldon's right. iRacing, top notch for just quality sim racing. You can go and if you watch an iRacing stream with the top drivers, you really do see some phenomenal racing. But saying that, I've seen some pretty good stuff coming out of some of the top ACC streams. The RLM guys are doing a great job. They've got a 12-hour Suzuka coming up on Saturday with 52 top-tier teams, which I think is also just going to be phenomenal to watch.
Jason, what do you think?
Yep. For some reason, sim racing since 2013. Actually, before that, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Gran Turismo, and then just going to Gran Turismo 4 and 5 and 6. The gamepad, steering wheel, and then officially moving over to PC format. And I've been playing numerous games. I can actually just go through the list I have in front of me on my Steam account, and there's probably like 10 or 11 different sims which I've played on. And to choose one specific title is going to be a bit biased. I mean, going the race experience. One of the games I've experienced physics-wise. Graphics also a bit outdated, but I mean physics-wise, it's still one of the best, and it's pretty old. I think it's like 4 or 5 years old now. Here's a different one, which I don't think a lot of guys have heard of it. Which focuses just on karting, which is in early access, so it's early build, but it's also fantastic. Just focuses on go-karts, gives you that immersion in go-kart. And then I'll go to the Formula 1 games because they're not part of sim racing. Dirt rally, some dirt rally, rallycross. That's pretty good. And then Assetto Corsa and ACC, still a game for me to use.
So if you could rate one of your best games or sim platforms, what would you say it would be, Jason?
At the moment or overall?
Just overall, in terms of what you enjoy playing most.
I think for the past 5 years, it's been just the first one, and then moving over to ACC. I've played a bit Factor 2 online, did some endurance races. I think last year I did a 24-hour Le Mans. That was quite fun, but as George said, it's pretty old graphics-wise, so it hurts your eyes. You play like 3-4 hours straight on.
Hurts your eyes.
But the physics is pretty good. It does. It does hurt the eyes.
I hope the creators of the sim are not listening in.
Oh, jeez.
Take care.
It hurt your eyes.
But yeah, it's,
And
yeah, but
last-
ACC is the top one.
And lastly, Jason, not Jason, Alleric. Alleric,
Yeah, I
what's
think
your vote?
these guys nailed the explanations of everything. I mean, these days they are getting so advanced that you can't really. It's so difficult to choose one. I think I have to go with some of the real racing drivers and go with R Factor 2 as the most realistic. As Jason said, it doesn't look that great, but when it comes to the physics, I think it has the features to make it the top one. I mean, the tire model is phenomenal. They go. I think that's probably the most detailed tire model you can ever get. iRacing is there, but I think they're still working on the. Dude, okay, look. iRacing is improving the time model at the moment. I know a lot of people don't like it as it is at the moment, so they're going to work on that. But yeah, something about iRacing is it's special. The feeling when you drive the car is you feel everything. They definitely nailed something when it comes to the force feedback and just the feeling of the car taking it into a corner under braking. When you like get a little slip in the wheels, like you feel everything in so much detail, and I think that's why most people can almost agree that iRacing is at the moment still the top simulator. ACC is, I mean, it's the new one in the scene, and it's definitely, like George said, it's taken the scene by storm. And the guys over there, they've been working day and night. I mean, we get in contact with the developers frequently when you're like racing in the competitive scene. I mean, these guys are constantly busy. They even race in some of the races themselves just to feel like, okay, what is our game like? What do people like? And we can give them feedback that way. So that's why ACC is getting so many updates recently with constant changes to like the tire model. They recently introduced complete body flicks, which makes cars, like it just handles curbs better, it handles bumps better. So yeah, it's so tough to decide between ACC, R Factor, and iRacing when it comes to the most realistic. For my pick, I'll probably still stick with R Factor 2 for now.
Yeah, I agree with the R Factor statement. On our DTM sim in Munich, we're currently using R Factor Pro, which is obviously not available to the public. But I do believe that it's by far the best time model you can ever get. I mean, I've never felt something when I'm sitting in the sim rig. It's unbelievably realistic. You can really feel so much feedback from the tire when you're pushing in too hard. You really feel the tire scrubbing to the corner. And there's just, I think, just the feedback part of R Factor is by far the best. So I think they've really nailed it in terms of time model. But obviously, like you said, graphics still need a bit of work. Although R Factor Pro's graphics is on a very good level at the moment, but obviously they don't want to release it to the public yet and make it quite exclusive for these pro teams.
Sheldon, can you, you don't perhaps have the login and password for R Factor Pro that we can just have a quick squiz?
I wish, man. Honestly, it's incredible, especially what they've done with her the ALS sounds and stuff that are literally from the real car. We did a test last year in Alleric where they put a microphone in the car and basically recorded all the sounds. So it's basically the real sound.
That's crazy.
Unreal. I mean, love to. Do they allow visits to the sim center in Germany?
No, it's very exclusive because obviously Audi have their sim as well, and they're trying to keep everything to themselves because obviously it's a massive tool for development.
Yeah.
So they don't want to basically let other manufacturers see into what we're creating there. So yeah, it's very behind closed doors at the moment, but I'm sure as sim racing starts to get bigger, they're going to start opening it to the public.
Sheldon, when your dad tells me that you spent a fair amount of time driving sims growing up, and you made a very quick transition from, 4 years from winning a VW Challenge race here to DTM driver. For drivers people who want to race cars, what would you recommend? At what point do you go from, or try and go from sim into a car with petrol?
Yeah, quite a difficult very good one, Colin. I think the most important thing is just that you need to be really dominating in sim racing. To really have that up edge from people and really show that you have that feeling for a car, because that feeling can come through in a simulator. And I think when these guys are really getting to know the time model and stuff and really understand it, it really starts to bring in a real life driver aspect into the sim racing, and that just shows that they have that quality of feeling what the car is doing and kind of putting it out on the racetrack. So I think definitely you're going to be needing to dominate in sim racing, and then probably that crossover point is most relevant to the guys that are willing to step over to real life. And then obviously budget is a massive point. You know, that's probably the biggest limiting factor for everyone. So yeah, it all just depends on what sponsors you have on board and how much you can really get together.
Now, another, just Sheldon, just quickly with last sort of question for you. Alleric's going to test the Universal Racing Uttinger Polo Cup car. And Sheldon, the level of coaching that you are able to give to him, how's that? Do you think that he would benefit from it?
What do you mean in terms of real life coaching or
Yeah. No. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, a bit of both. How can you take your real life experience of these cars to pass on to Alleric, who's got a shitload of experience on the sim, but might that jump, the transition between sim and into petrol, what advice would you give him?
Yeah, so obviously, I think the first thing is just getting into the car and really getting into a comfort zone, because now you don't really have a reset button when you're crashing, for example. So you need to obviously feel yourself into the test or whatever, and then it's just really about building up confidence. Confidence is probably the biggest word in the sense that you need to step into the car and know your place, know that if you crash, you've written the car off, and just build up to it. I think that's the most important thing. And then, I think the rest is self-explanatory. It's just, if you have that feeling, you can't really explain it to someone. I think a lot of it comes naturally, and the last maybe 5/10 or so is just by kind of waxing out the finer details on data or whatever. So for me, in my opinion, if you have the feeling for a race car, it will go very quickly.
And Sheldon, your sound comes and goes, but we'll get that. Try and get that.
Yeah, sorry
sorted.
about that, man.
No, don't worry. Alleric, from your point of view, you've used to working with an engineer. You've got your bloody Motec data plug-in, spoilt brat, and how confident do you feel going into the car?
I mean, I've already started kind of preparing myself for it in some way. In a set of course, I liked George also recently said, like, you get modded content, and I can literally go download Swartkops, get a Polo Cup car, and go do some laps. And I mean, I can literally just go get some onboard footage of what it's like in real life and compare it to the real life, see if the braking points are the same, accelerating point, all those things. And I mean, the lap I've did so far, it's completely spot on. So I think that's an easy way to already get the mindset of what the track is like and all those things. I think that's like the best place to start, is knowing the track and the braking points of those things. And then once you get the feeling of the car right in real life, you can start experimenting with those braking points, see if you can maximize the car. So it's a very exciting time for me, I have to say. Like, it's quite surreal to go through all this.
Geez, I tell you what, it's a completely different way of going racing. It's unbelievable the levels that you've got to go now. George, why are you laughing?
I love Alleric. He has always been sort of our enthusiastic youngster. I think most other people, when being faced with something like this, would maybe take it a little bit easier. I love that LT wants to push things to the limits and push the braking points already without even having seen the car yet. You'll learn. I did I did something quite interesting. The guys from Sarko invited me over to go and try do one of their F400 karting series events. And I went there with a couple of other guys in the gaming community, and we tried out karting. And I've never done competitive karting or anything like that. So getting into an F400 kart for me was like my first bit of on-track experience. And it was great fun, I must say. It was pouring with rain, and we had slick tires on. Dylan Hall was there to guide us and give us a couple of top tips. But to be honest, it was hair-raising. And the first time that you go and tap the brakes, you lock up the back, and the whole thing slides you backwards over the gravel. You suddenly realize you're not sitting in your bedroom in your underpants, and it's a little bit different. So I'm pretty sure that a Polo Cup car is going to be a little bit more of a hair-raising experience. Super excited. And I've been behind these guys, following them and seeing what they've been doing in the sim side, and couldn't be prouder and happier for Alleric to get this kind of an opportunity, you know.
It's going to be fun to watch. Horndog, what you got for us?
Well, just talking of Dylan Hall, he's come through and said a sim driver has a visual and feel perspective in a car. Once you add the seat of the pants feel, the sim racer is able to adapt quite quickly. And I think that's to a point. His other question, which is a cool one to throw out to you guys, is do you stick to one platform, or do you try and have as many platforms as you can and then, you know, sort of swap and change between all of them? What do you guys reckon on that one?
I think you have to kind of focus down and actually choose something that you want to specialize in. Especially if you want to be a competitive driver, you can't just jump around and do everything. I mean, seeing all these sim events happening in different sims, you've seen different invitationals happen. I saw Super GT, a well-known YouTuber, putting out a statement saying that, you know what, he's actually had to decline a couple of events. He just can't get himself up to speed in the simulator that these guys have chosen in that kind of time, and has actually had to decline it because his own racing standards are at risk. He's got big followers, people want him to do well, and having to be forced around and thrown into other sims is quite difficult. So I think focusing, if you want to be competitive, is important, and choosing something is always going to be hard. I think if it comes down to no money, no worries, people choose iRacing without any other choice. You've got the best platform there. If you're on a PC, if you've just got a console, you're limited, right? So it depends what you've got access to and what you want to do. But I think when it comes down to it, someone like me who goes and does commentary and wants to do content around it, I kind of have to get into everything, because being in a commentary box position and not being able to talk about what those guys are feeling for yourself is probably one of the most, makes you feel distance from the community, You want to be able to feel it. So, other sim racers will know I jump into everything. If it's got wheels and a motor and a sound, it's early access, it's whatever, I'll jump into it and try and drive it and get a feel of it, because I want to create content around it one day, But for focused sim racers, I think like Jason and Alleric can take it away a little bit more. I mean, I see them, they main one sim, and they just build up hours into that.
Okay, now I want to do it the other way around. So, an old fart ex-racing driver like myself, I've got immense enjoyment out of the ACC. Absolute, it brought that race on whenever it was, Tuesday earlier this week, that whole bit of tension, the bit of butterflies that are going around in your stomach, that lacquer racing feeling, it kind of, is that the place to start for a race driver or a retired old guy who can't afford to go and buy a car again? Sheldon, what do you think?
Yeah, I think so. If it's about fun and stuff, I definitely think that it's probably one of the leading. Colin, we fire great. It really is worth trying out. So maybe I'll give you my login in laps, and your mind will be changed forever.
I'll tell you what, Sheldon, I certainly will have a go on that. Next question, just to the panel that I've got. How do we get more crossover? What do you sim racers guys need or feel or want or would like from the racing community to to get more of a crossover and get more of an appreciation. We're trying to bring more of an appreciation of sim racing to the petrol heads that watch this stuff. But from your guys' point of view, what do we need to do?
I think that there needs to. I think that what we can do, or that you guys can do, is definitely give out opportunities to guys, even if it's the likes of going through to skid pans and those kind of things, where any kind of real life racing experience can be given out as well. Cash prizes always work to incentivize drivers. I mean, with the solidarity thing, 10,000 Rand into 10,500 Rand into LT's back pockets would have made him smile. So I think that things are growing. It's definitely been highlighted in this whole lockdown as to what's happening. People are happy to be there and driving with big names as well. So if we can get more racing drivers into some of the broadcasts as well, some of these guys just want to race against some of the drivers that are driving as well. So it's such an open-ended question, because we as sim drivers are used to being in an esports scene where we don't have any highlights on us, or we haven't really had opportunities. So anywhere that's something real life gets involved, and especially something like this where Raceday TV hosting us here as sim drivers and broadcast. We've got Sheldon van der Linde here as well. It's insane for us to have these kind of opportunities, and I think that it does go and grow the scene and help people see that this is not like Counter-Strike, where you can go and play against anybody on the internet, but there's no crossover. You never get to experience that in real life. This is one of the only games, and I'll say games again, but it's a simulator, that you get a crossover to be able to compete against or drive with people of doing this as a profession. What other sim or game can do that?
Well, certainly not Counter-Strike. What's that other one where you go in and blow stuff up and shoot stuff, and it's
that's all other games. Call of Duty, there we go.
Yeah,
I can't go from Call of Duty
alongside iRacing.
But you can't really do Call of Duty in the real life unless you live in Boksburg.
Like that.
And we are sponsored by the Boksburg Publicity Association. Charlize Theron, comes from Boksburg. So big shout out to Boksburg. We love you. Guys, we've been chattering away for almost an hour, and I know, Sheldon, your Boerewors role is my
It's getting cold, Colin.
I can smell it. I can smell it.
So can I. That's the problem.
And just big shout out to your mom and dad, and just say thank you very much for allowing, and tell Sean I say thanks for answering the phone, because you were focused on other stuff. And Sheldon van der Linde, the youngest DTM pole sitter, the youngest DTM driver ever in the history of the world, and also a damn fine guy. Thank you so much for joining us. And Jason,
thanks a lot for having me, guys.
Jason, drive of the day that you got. Your steering wheel disconnected, and you had an issue. An issue.
What do you mean disconnected?
Well, it lost contact. No, I joke. I jest. You had a technical issue, and the way that you came back in that drive showed, as a racer, I looked at it. I was watching that stuff, and to me it was as real. It was reals. And I mean, there was driving with your head and driving quickly and attacking in the right way. It was magnificent to watch. Congratulations on that. And then to Alleric as well, thank you so much for joining us. The winner, the overall, the way you approached that whole thing in the semi-final, or not the semi-final, the race before. You didn't need to go and beat Zahir. It was about getting the grid position. In some ways, second was better than first. And I don't think a lot of people picked up on the strategy. Well, I thought it was your strategy. And then in the race to go and pull that off Respect, man. Proper respect. It was a real race. For me, it
Yeah.
was magnificent. And congratulations, everybody, on doing that. Any last words from any of you guys, our guests today?
I mean, I think
No,
some racers probably just have to say thanks to Raceday for this. I mean, I think like George said, it's blowing up for us. This is like dreams coming true. Let's say a month ago, we would just still be doing our same thing, racing as a small group that no one really knows about. And here we are doing interviews, getting to drive with the real race drivers and all these things. So it's massive. It's a big thanks from, I think, the whole country's sim racers to everyone that's trying to get into the scene and help out.
Guys, this is us during the race. We had it live. We were standing around. We were watching.
Love it.
I mean, it was real. We were at a racetrack. It was proper. We might even have had a cool drink that we drank. Yeah.
Colin, I've got a question for you.
Yes.
From our good friend, Mr. Terry Wilford. He's actually got two questions. First one was, were you as nervous for Wednesday's race as you were for a normal race or a real race that you've done in the past? And then another last question, which you're going to have to do really quickly. What is the best sim platform for a console, say a PS4 or something like that? So
Okay,
first off,
I don't know the answer to that question. The simple answer is yes. I was cucking myself with a new thing properly.
well done.
And
love the honesty.
I started from the pits. I got a drive-through penalty, and I couldn't give up, and I tried to just drive fast, consistent laps. For me, they were fast. I was 4 seconds off the pace of the guys in the front, but it was as fast as I could go, and it was mega concentration, and it was as real as I've ever experienced in a race. So thank you, gamers, sim drivers, and all the rest of it. But that question for PS4, what do we do?
GT Sports is definitely where you go on GT on PlayStation. I would say GT Sports, simple, easy.
I think GeeMax is wrong there. I think save your money because Assetto Corsa Competizione is coming to console, I think in June. So I think everyone is going to jump onto that really fast. It comes with the GT4 pack as well, so we'll have GT3 and GT4 by then, and just wait for ACC to come to console.
There you go. There's
That's
the
true.
answer.
Save your money.
Or you can get Call of Duty, Colin.
I didn't get
He says, get Call of Duty. We've got, I've got a steering wheel. So Call of Duty, we've got...
You can always move left and right with the steering wheel.
Guys, George, Jason, Sheldon, Alleric, and Andrew the Horn Dog, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute privilege sharing in your world and having you come and enlighten us and help. And I really hope that going forward we can keep this momentum of sim races and petrol car races crossing over and just grow the sport. I also just want to thank Fritz and Henk. They are really struggling today. There was an issue with our water last night, and it's gone straight to their heads, so they're battling like hell. They've done a brilliant job. Thank you very much, as always. And to you guys who joined us and watched, and your comments, thank you so much for joining us on Race Day. We'll be back. We don't know when, but it will be soon. We don't know who with, but it will be fun. In the meantime, stay fast, stay safe, be lekker. Thanks for watching. Cheers.
Ciao.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Ciao.